So, got a plan? You've got it all figured out. As soon as A, B, and C happens, then I can do D. I can leave this job. I can leave this relationship. I can start a company. I can take that trip. I can retire. Um, it's just we are consistently waiting for the right conditions to make changes in our lives. And then, if we really start to get into it, we will realize that we always will find, and this is the self sabotage pattern that we get ourselves into, we always find that the conditions aren't perfect. Our conditions are never going to be met when it comes to making a change, especially big changes like the one I talked about, because it's the whole point. It's not going to be comfortable to make a change. And so when we're in these comfortable places, but that's antagonizing us to make a change in some sort of way because it's starting to cause a little uncomfortableness, we don't like the unknown. We just don't like it. We don't want to deal with that. So we have a planning for when conditions are different that we will do the things we need to do. So we need to catch that. So let's get some tips on how to catch that, how to overcome it, and how to just do it. Okay, so I want you to know that this topic is super important because this right here is understanding the roadblocks, the sabotage, the inability to expand. Our expansion relies on understanding this right now. And expansion means moving to the next level of consciousness, moving to the new life that we want, moving beyond what we've always experienced into something new. And unfortunately, that's the hardest part of life. And I'm going to tell you right now, as it relates to astrology and, coaching or psychology. I mean, any of these, themes that are about improving our lives, it's always going to ride on this. If you're not comfortable moving into the unknown, and moving into the unknown is required to uplevel your life, period. And that's why Nike coined that phrase, just do it, because at the end of the day, if we're going to always wait for the right conditions, we're never, ever going to make a change. And so this is something near and dear to my heart because it is the thing that will help us understand that we're just not ready or capable to improve our lives. And so we have to confront that. We have to stop saying, oh, when I have enough money or when I have this. And I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks to overcome this thought system for sure, because we can have every excuse in the world and everything can seem impossible. But we can do it. We can just definitely do it. So let's get into some examples, some tips and tricks, and let's start moving forward in our life. Screw that old life. Let's move on. Doesn't mean leaving everybody behind either. My favorite person, I'm a big time Bible buff, and not in the religious sense, but trying to decipher it in physics terms. And I think that's what Jesus means by those have eyes see and ears hear, because I see it in a completely different way. And if I go to a church, it drives me bananas. So my favorite, and all of these stories are telling you about people that were called to just do it, and they resisted. Every single one of them. They resisted. And so they're great examples of how to just do it. And my favorite is Moses. Favorite character in the Bible is obviously Jesus, because he really gets down and dirty in physics. Moses, I think that the Old Testament was more rigid, because in our state of consciousness at that time and the people that recorded the events were much more linear and closed-minded. I don't want to say it like that, but it's just they were in a different level of consciousness. And so Moses, it's still very metaphorical, but the biggest thing I'd like to say is that every time God called him to do it, he said, I can't do it. And that's why I want to use him as the example, because the biggest thing that he did towards the end, because trust me, we are all in this. position just like Moses. God is calling our heart to do something, to expand. Expansion is never ending. And we all say, I can't do it. And the next thought after I can't do it is the reasons, right? And so he was consistently giving God the reasons. He was like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a criminal. They're not going to listen to me. Just like all these things, right? And so what Moses did is he finally listened to God, because God put something in your heart, and then when you don't kind of follow, then your life gets kind of miserable. And so that's what he was kind of going through. And he's like, fine, screw it, I'll do it. I'll go in there, I'll save the people, right? So he goes in, he saves the people, he takes them out, and then he keeps going to God. Up the mountain means he elevates in consciousness to become one and hear the messages from God. And so when he came out of that, which I'm going to think is like a meditative state, or however it is that he connected to God, he saw that the people were like, we have to go back. We can't do this. So they did the excuses, right? And Moses, and this is much like Jesus, Moses is like, I left you for 5 seconds and you already are doubting, right? And that's every time Jesus is like, I left you for 5 seconds, you went back to sleep. What the heck? We were good. And so you're in good company. All of the people in the Bible were like, oh, I can't do it. I got this reason and that reason. The thing I really liked about Moses, like super liked, is that he really described that they were screwed. He was like, we're screwed. The troops are coming. The sea is here. And the people don't even give a shit about trying to get free. They're ready to go back. So he's kind of on his own, right? And then he was like, no, y'all, we're going to just do it. God took us out of all of this. You really think that, because that was an obstacle, this sea and them chasing us, this is light work compared to what we've been through, right? And I want you to think about that. In our lives, these changes we're about to make, look back on your life and be like, I made it through 100% of the obstacles that I was presented. Why? Because I finally trusted something. I trusted myself. That's key. I trusted a higher power, however you want to look at that. And I trust people, And so trust is a huge thing. And trust goes along with faith, because faith is like, if I have the trust that everything is going to work out, and faith is there. So these are all of the things that all the prophets taught because of what they'd went through, right? And so I'm asking you, look back in your life. You've made it through 100% of the problems, and do you wish that you would have taken action in certain things sooner? Hell yeah, I know you do. So Moses said very clearly, and this is my favorite part, he's like, we need to walk to the sea. And they're like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. He's like, well, they're out to get us. God told us to leave from that way. So we need to go this way. And so they start going. And I want you to know, this is the crucial thing. He did it without knowing the way. Yeah. So basically, he was not using his excuses. He was not stating, once this gets better, then I'll go. He was just like, well, I'll go, and then the way will appear. And that is every prophet in the Bible, y'all. But I want that part to be really, really clear. Because this is what we're doing with our conditions. We're saying, once the bridge is made over the water, then I'll start walking. But every prophet in the Bible is very clear that when they started walking, and in this case with Moses, towards the sea, as he got closer to it, and he's walking with his staff, and he hits his staff, and all of a sudden, as soon as the staff hit the water, the way was made. Yeah. That is faith and certainty and trust. Not only in God, but in himself. Because he had to stand strong and solid regardless of what everybody around him was chattering. We're so used to that too. And are we really justifying the reasons we can't do it by asking people's opinions? Hell yeah, because we know they're just going to validate what we're saying, because that's what friends do. But friends could be our greatest self-sabotager because they're stuck in the same bullshit too. We got to get into the habit of saying, I don't know A, B, and C, but I'm just going to do it because I can't keep looping this. And the important thing is, so let's get to the important thing. Recognizing you want to make a change in an area of your life that you are looping and coming to the same thing. When this changes, I'll do it. And then when you recognize that, you say, it's now or never, baby, because I have given one life, in theory, and I'm going to make it better. Can't get any worse than this. And that's usually what happens when we finally just do it, is it's like, oh, I keep saying I'm going to do this and it keeps getting worse. And that's what happened to Moses. It just kept getting worse. So the goal here is to not listen to not only the voices in your head, but to your friends, your family. You listen to what's in your heart. I deserve better than this. I don't know the way, but I'm going to just go. And the way will appear. This is proven through your own life if you look at it, through the prophets of the Bible if you look at it, and through a whole lot of historical figures in the world. Saints, everybody. This is the level up, y'all. This is it. If you are stuck in a conundrum, understand your core values, and whether it's stay or go, accept the staying and make changes. Trust that you can, or go and trust that everything will work out. And if it's miserable where you at, you are not a freaking tree, walk. Just remember, the ego, our own self-sabotaging loop that's in there, will always figure out a reason that you shouldn't do it. And most of the time it's rooted deeply in fear. So to overcome the fear, you use faith. And I know we've heard that before, but faith means I'm going to take the first step even though I don't know how the rest is going to go. And that's how you enter into the unknown and you find what's better for you. So let's stop. Let's stop right now and catch ourselves and stop the looping and the figuring out and the planning and just say, not today, Satan. I'm on my way. Because how long I've been suffering and planning on this, there's got to be something better. This is misery. So what I'm fearing on the other side of this, at least I'm not doing this over and over. Whatever you have to start telling yourself, but it's most important just to catch that that's what you're doing. You're looking for conditions to change to leave, but the conditions are what's pushing you to leave. Those conditions will never change because expansion is what's required for change. Let's say it again. The only way things change is when you expand beyond what you're currently doing. So if you're trying to get any condition to get better so that you can make that change, oh, I need more money to leave my man. I need better credentials or an education to leave this crappy job and this and that. And I'm here to tell you those sound very valid. But until you start leaving behind things that you deserve better for without care about the conditions and having faith that you deserve more, you'll just loop in that and you'll find other reasons. You'll move your own goalpost. All right, so I hope this video helps because it's huge and maybe you want to read the stories in the Bible a different way and see that they're just showing us that when you trust in a higher power and yourself, that you can get through it. You just got to take the first step. All right, so that's it for today. No conditions shall stop me from living my best life is the mantra. And if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, take care.